question yet.
How much longer is this, guys?
You haven't answered
I'm having a ball.
You haven't answered my question yet.
No, I'm sitting 5 feet from you.
I get that, 3 feet.
Listen,
so what's
3 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you to your face, I am not a registered Democrat.
What part of the policies you voted for are you happy with today?
I'm not happy with... Let me finish a thought,
I want to hear it.
In this video, Patrick Bet David sits down with ex-Congressman and never-Trumper Joe Walsh. Patrick Bet David gets Joe Walsh upset when he calls him a Democrat. With that, let's watch Patrick Bet David make a fool out of Rhino Joe Walsh.
I'm not a Democrat. You can call me a son of a bitch and a dishonest opportunist. I'm not a Democrat.
You said you are glad you voted for Biden, and you said you're happy you did.
Yeah.
So you've had a year and a half to assess that vote,
and
you're still happy about it.
I don't regret that vote.
Okay, so what do you think? What the situation today? The situation we're in today. Why are we in the situation we are today?
No, stop, my friend.
Exactly. Let's get emotional.
Listen, listen.
Why are we in the situation we are today? Tell me.
I asked you a specific question.
Which is what?
Am I a Democrat?
Based on what you're saying that you don't regret your vote, of course you're a Democrat.
That makes me a Democrat, even though I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a registered Democrat.
Because you supported policies of a Democrat.
Pat,
if I vote for a Democrat or a Republican,
Republicans and independents voted for Biden.
If I claim I'm non-emotional,
come on, man. It's a nice podcast, but you got to fucking deal in facts.
If I claim I'm non-emotional, which you're saying you're not, okay.
Pat,
if I claim I'm not, what part of your vote today?
Did independents vote for Biden in 2020?
What part of your vote today?
See, he just doesn't listen.
Because you have an answer.
The second Joe Walsh opened his mouth, I could tell he's a Democrat at heart. First words out of his mouth, the first thing said in this clip was, "I'm not a Democrat." Sure sound like one. The fact that this guy even claims that he's not emotional is hilarious. We've watched 1 minute and 12 seconds of this, and the guy is so offended. You got to have a better poker face, brother. Good Lord. Look at his face on screen right now. I'm mad at him. Even if he doesn't call himself a Democrat, he's behaving like a Democrat. How could you possibly call yourself a Republican and vote for Joe Biden? The core values of what makes someone identify with the Republican Party is such a ridiculously stark contrast from everything Joe Biden stood for and everything the Democrat Party stands for. There was a time when the parties weren't that far apart, and I hope we get back to that time where the left hasn't gone so crazy. I don't want to just go down the ballot and just vote everything Republican, but the state of the two parties kind of forces me to do that now. I'm serious. I really don't want to do that. But since Trump came on the scene, I have yet to see a Democrat that I'm like, okay, yeah, I'd vote for that person. And don't get me wrong, I'm completely willing to, but like I said, the values of the two parties are so vastly different right now. I can't in good conscience do it. Anyway, let's see what else this emotional little lady has to say.
Answer my question yet.
How much longer is this, guys?
You haven't answered
I'm having a ball.
You haven't answered my question yet.
No, I'm sitting 5 feet from you.
I get that, 3 feet.
Listen,
so what's
3 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you to your face, I am not a registered Democrat.
What part of the policies you voted for are you happy with today?
I'm not happy with... Let me finish a thought,
I want to hear it. Policies.
As I've said before, I'm not happy with the vast majority of policies Biden has done.
Yeah.
I'm not a Democrat. I don't regret my vote.
Yeah.
Plenty of independents and Republicans voted for Biden too, Pat. They're not Democrats. Maybe they regret their vote, but they're not Democrats.
But that's a difference, though.
No, you called me a Democrat,
No, that's a different, though. You supported...
You know what? You're un-American.
You supported Democratic policy.
You're un-American.
You can't say that. Why would you say that?
It's your opinion.
Because he's calling... No, exactly.
It's your opinion.
How stupid, Adam, is it for me to say that?
But if you can,
not
if you can validate the point...
But Pat sits there and says, I'm a
But
Democrat.
if you validate the point, I'll take it.
I love you, man, and this isn't emotional.
If you validate the point, say it.
But there's no point.
Well, Pat,
then tell me your policies.
There's no point to
What
this.
policies you voted for? What policies you voted for?
Pat.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Pat,
are you happy for the vote?
Pat?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you a damn thing if you continue to call me a Democrat.
Then tell me what policies you don't support.
No.
Then tell me what policies you don't.
I'm not.
Then
I'm a Democrat.
Then because tell me the policies.
Hey, Tyler, how much longer?
Tell me the policies.
Okay.
Joe, you can get up and leave. I'm totally fine with that. We'll open the door for you.
I may, and it's
You do
Joe,
that.
you're going to be fine.
No,
You're going to stay there. You're good.
No. I'm totally okay with that. If you
This is not emotional.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
so
I'm
they
not
give me a logical answer.
I'm not a no. But stop for a minute.
Yeah, you said it's not emotional.
I left the Republican Party 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I did not join the Democratic Party. I am an independent right now.
Mm-hmm.
So do not call me a Democrat.
But tell me what policies you supported that today are working of Biden's policies.
I'd have a hard time picking. I can give you one.
Sure.
I'm glad Biden got us out of Afghanistan. I'll give you two.
I'm glad that we got out of Afghanistan too, Joe. But how do you think that was handled? That's the one good thing you can point to. And I believe 13 United States military servicemen and women were killed. Are you happy with getting out of Afghanistan that way? Doesn't it sound like Joe Walsh is just like in denial? Here's the thing. He has plenty of opportunity to say, look, here's why I'm not a Democrat. Here's what's most important for me when I'm voting for a candidate. And Donald Trump didn't align with those things. Now, PBD may push back, but Joe Walsh won't even make a case. And he says he's not emotional, but he keeps saying, how much longer is this? I might just walk out. That's emotional, dude. What are you talking about? And then when he says something, he acts like PBD's not giving him the opportunity to talk. I think say what you want about Patrick Bet-David. I think he's a pretty good listener, actually. All he's said this whole time is, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. And all PBD's saying is, okay, why? And he just refuses to answer. And he says he's happy with his vote for Biden, even with the direction he took the country. And you still stick by that. And just so you know there, Joe, his performance as president is probably the main driver that put Trump back in the White House. So we have him to thank for that. I just wish we could have done it without all the damage he's done to our country. And I haven't heard you say one complaint about Biden's presidency. Did the fact that everyone and their brother knew that he wasn't really there mentally, did that bother you? Did letting in over 20 million unvetted people come into our country, did that bother you? He says, you're un-American, and PBD handles it great. He's like, that's your opinion. The difference in what you're saying and what PBD is saying is he's laying out a case as to why he believes you're a Democrat. You're just calling him a name because you're not emotional, right? You can tell he's really conflicted. He's like, I mean, it's a nice podcast. And he's like, but how much longer do we have? What is it? I mean, if you ever need a video example of emotional, you're looking at it right now. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
I like the simple infrastructure bill the bipartisan infrastructure bill that Biden signed into law. Those are two that I approve. The vast majority of things Biden did, I don't support.
So you support the way we left Afghanistan?
Absolutely. I support us getting out of Afghanistan.
Let's clarify that. Do you support us getting out, or you support the way we left?
I'll answer that. I supported us getting out.
Because that started under Trump and the Doha Agreement.
Hey, my friend. Yeah, that was a promise of Trump's that I supported. And I'm glad Biden got it done. And I believe that any way we would have gotten out of Afghanistan was going to be ugly and messy, and it was. But I respect Biden for having the balls for doing it.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the
all joking aside, you can just tell with some people, and this guy's a prime example, that there's something a little off with them. Do you know how rare it is for someone to leave the Republican Party and go Democrat? Or he said independent. Even that. Look online for videos of why I left the right. I'm sure they're out there. I've never done a search. I'm sure there are some out there. But then if you search why I left the left, the number of videos on that topic are endless. It really says something about the two parties. I just don't see people leaving the right very often. So that's why I say there's just something off about Joe Walsh. His leaving the right probably had something to do with thinking if he went independent or something, he could have a better chance of getting reelected. I've seen other politicians do that. So it has nothing to do with his values. Maybe it never did. And that's why I always say there's bad apples in the Republican Party too, because I'd imagine when this guy was a quote unquote Republican, all he did was hurt the cause. So he probably strategized back in the day and said, all right, if I run as a Republican, I got the best chance to get elected. Then the Republicans started to see his true colors, and he was like, I got to get away from them. So I'll be an independent now, and then people will vote for me. Sorry, Joe, it didn't work. But we want to hear from you. What do you all think about this conversation between Patrick Bet-David and Joe Walsh? Am I wrong, or does he seem incredibly emotional despite continually trying to make his case that he's not emotional? Who gets that upset over being called a Democrat? I would just explain my positions on a handful of things and say that's why I'm not a Democrat. Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.